Hi, my name is Brian Schmit. I'm the curator at the West Pasco Historical Society, and today we're in Hudson with Herb Elliott, and we're visiting Herb, and we're here in Hudson because this is a site of prehistoric people. You would come here some 14,000 years ago, and so we are lucky enough at the museum to have a nice collection of artifacts, lithics, that date back only 2,000 years. But thanks to Herb, our collection now goes back 14,000 years. So, Herb, thank you very much for meeting us today.
Thank you for being here, my dear friend.
And so, how did you know that this was a site to be able to find all these lithics?
I got to say, first of all, I did find some artifacts, okay? And then once you find artifacts, you got to connect it with prehistory. And prehistory says anytime you follow the people that came across the Bering Straits and came down the west coast and started across Clovis, New Mexico.
Right.
You know, that's where the Clovis Point was. It is a simple fact that I asked one of my great uncles, who was at that point in time about 80 years old. I told him where I found this point and everything. He said, well, Rich, he said, let me tell you something. He said, there's an old mountain spring right there beside that, you know? I said, no, I didn't know that, you know. He said, there's an old spring right there. And that's where those guys were getting their water. So I always used water as a connecting point for normal habitation, this sort of thing, you know. The simple fact they had to have water to survive, along with meat. Plus, animals came here to get their water too.
Right.
So this became a focal point once I found a few artifacts right there. Now, if we look right out there where this retention area is,
Right.
and they went down on one end as much as 15 feet, I found a lot of artifacts right in here because you dug down to old cultural levels when they were digging out these retention areas.
Right. So you've been at this for a long time, it sounds like, and so you recognize that we had a prehistoric sinkhole here, which would be a watering hole, like Herb mentioned. And what's neat about this is that there were several levels, and so we have paleo level, some 14,000 years ago, and we got archaic level, and the woodland level, different periods in history, and it's all happened here. So how many different pieces did you find here in this area?
I would say out of the a little over 4,000 pieces we found, I would say somewhere around 3,500.
3,500 pieces?
Probably found within 150 yards of this location.
Is that right? And so the people used to come here and they'd hunt the animals and they'd get the drinking water and so forth here. And so we're lucky enough to have, of those, 3,000 or 4,000 that Herb find, we have about a dozen of them, but very kind of the top ones that you can come to the museum and take a look at, and you can see Herb's story at the museum. So, well, that's awesome. What, have you always been interested? So you've been doing this for a long time?
I've been doing it, well, I'll be 88 years old in 5 weeks, okay?
You don't look a day over 40.
Bless your heart. I knew I liked you for some reason.
That's right.
But, I've been doing this off and on since I was like 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
We had relatives living along the Ohio River and doing raising corn and crops and things of this nature, but they'd always be doing a lot of plowing and then cleaning. And when we would go visit with these people, my 2 sisters and brother would go with the other relatives their age to the barn, playing hay and everything. I'd head for the river bottoms.
Okay.
And when I started finding the paleo pieces, I mean, it became exciting.
Yeah.
Because then you knew you were going back at least 12, 13,000 years.
Right. And that's, you kind of don't think of Florida in that manner of paleo, so we're talking about the Ice Age period.
Right.
But we're finding more and more, as we were talking earlier, that that there were mammoth in this area, there were mastodon in this area, and so it just kind of blows your mind when we're thinking about the history of Pasco County. We don't think usually about mastodon and mammoth and being hunted right here in a site just like this. And so this is now an official state park, Paleo Park, and that by working with the state archaeologists up in Tallahassee, Herb was wise enough to contact those people, and they did studies and verifying his finds, and then they were able to make this a park. So congratulations on everything that you've done here, and thank you very much for being so kind to us.
Hey, I have no choice, buddy. You guys are special people too, so.
All right, thank you very much.